The man entered the snake pit and was bitten by venomous snakes.
But not only was he unafraid, he even smiled slightly.
You should know, those are striped vipers 100 times more venomous than black mambas.
Yet the men allowed the snakes
to bite him freely because he needed the venom from their mouths.
Only with that could he kill Elder Shuijiao and sign the contract.
Meanwhile, his beloved wife was facing a life and death moment.
But his heart had long let go.
The person he loved had already left this place, so he had nothing left to worry about.
But that didn't mean he had given up fighting. As long as
everyone could hold of the evil elder. Once the rain stopped, they could send a signal to nearby warriors again, and there might be hope of survival. However, the evil elder was already in a killing frenzy. Several Tang clan members had been completely drained of blood by him, and each one had died a miserable death.
Their bodies were entirely drained of blood.
The evil elder was ecstatic. It had been a long time since he had slaughtered like this. Just then, Elder Pang stood in front of Huyen, asking her to retreat with him. If the young lady died here, he wouldn't have the face to face the clan leader. Zhu Chenyu found the scene utterly disgusting.
What he hated most was these so-called
righteous sects putting on airs like this.
Then he roared at the elder and Huyen. No one is leaving today.
If my toys always run away, I lose all interest, don't I? But at this moment, even if they wanted to escape, Zhu Chenyu wouldn't let them.
To him, they were just lambs to the slaughter. But he felt killing just these people wasn't enough. He had to go to the Tang clan's territory and burn it to
the ground. Elder Han cursed silently. Damn that evil elder. He wants to wipe us all out. Huyen clenched her whip and thought, even if I die, I must at least sever one of his arms.
Then she glared fiercely at the evil elder, as
if saying, I'll drag you down with me if needed. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind the evil elder. Just like Miss Huyen said, Tang clan members never abandon their own. Seeing me appear, my wife was shocked. You already escaped.
Why did you come back? At that moment, I was full of confidence.
For a dramatic entrance like this, a bit of Junibius was essential.
If I can't even save my family, what's the point of living? My words left everyone stunned, momentarily speechless. I removed the heavenly dragon from my hand and said to them, Tang clan members never abandon family. That's why I came back. Next, I threw off my clothes with flair. At that moment, I believed I must look incredibly cool in their eyes.
I returned because I am a Tang clan member.
Then I flicked both my wrists and 2 short blades instantly appeared.
The evil elder sneered in his heart. A weak little brat like you, even if you return. What can you do? But I charged forward without hesitation.
Today will be the day you die, elder of the evil sect.
My wife broke into a cold sweat in fear, telling me I absolutely must not go near him, because I was no match for that man.
The evil elder burst into laughter. They struggled so hard to scare you off, yet you came back to die.
I've never seen someone as dumb as you. I ignored everything he said, charging at him with both blades. Clang!
My blades fell to the
ground instantly. My wife was horrified. From the way I attacked, I was full of openings, with no offense or defense at all.
As expected, as soon as I got close, the evil elder grabbed my throat and lifted me with one hand. He cackled wickedly.
If you're in such a rush to die, I won't be polite. His palm began to gather sinister energy.
As soon as he finished speaking, his palm landed on my chest with a smack.
At the moment he hit my abdomen, I immediately raised my arms to block. But this was exactly what the evil elder wanted.
You
fool!
Did you think you could stop me from drinking your blood? Don't you know your arms have veins too? With that, the evil elder plunged his fingers into my arm's vein. The excruciating pain made me scream uncontrollably.
My wife was extremely worried. She had to save me immediately, or I would surely die.
As she rushed forward, the evil elder laughed maniacally, having never tasted such delicious blood before.
The sensation nearly drove him mad. Indeed, only youthful blood could excite him like this.
After absorbing my blood, he stomped hard, leaving a massive crater in the ground. He waved his arms up and down, unleashing blood wave overload in an instant. All Tang clan experts were sent flying.
At the same time, I was thrown into the air and caught by my wife.
The evil elder scoffed. A bunch of useless chickens and dogs. Looks like the Tang clan is nothing. Those Tang clan members had been throwing hidden weapons non-stop, which annoyed him greatly. Luckily, after absorbing my blood, he could defeat us all in one blow. My wife's face showed extreme panic.
Knowing a bit of medicine, he saw immediately that I was near death.
He hugged me tightly, crying out in agony, thinking that his beloved might die here because of him. But then I slowly opened my eyes. Looks like my plan worked. Looking up, I saw drool dripping from the evil elder's
mouth, his internal energy completely chaotic. Just 2.5 seconds later, his hair was blown away by the wind, and he looked significantly thinner.
He staggered toward me and asked what I had done to cause this.
Only the poison dispersal technique.
But poison shouldn't work against their sect's inner cultivation, right?
Realizing the miserable fate awaiting him, he panicked. You brat, who the hell are you?
I chuckled and slowly stood up. You want to know who I am?
Today I'll mercifully tell you. I raised my finger at the evil elder. I am your nemesis. You will die here today. The evil elder's body trembled, his fear overwhelming.
He never expected to fall at the hands of an unknown brat.
Even now, he didn't understand what kind of poison he had been afflicted with.
After absorbing my blood, it circulated through his body once, and when he used blood wave overload again, his blood suddenly stopped obeying him.
At this point, the evil elder was filled with unwillingness. He had the world in the palm of his hands, yet he was going to die here. How could he accept that? Then, like a starving tiger, he lunged at my wife. Even if he died today, he wanted to take someone down with him.
Whoosh, a loud whip cracked through the air. The evil elder was caught off guard and a whip wrapped tightly around his neck.
It was looped around his head like a fighting chain. This gave Madam a sudden shock. What is wrong with this guy? He was hit so easily.
But he quickly reacted, immediately pulled on his own whip, and started a tug of war with Elder Xi.
Actually,
none of the people present knew that he was already at the end of his strength.
If we all attacked together, we could have killed him directly.
But the elder was unwilling to give up,
which gave him a bit more strength. He was determined
to smash my skull. Otherwise, he couldn't vent his hatred.
After all, I ruined his bloodline.
Then he grabbed the whip tightly and charged toward us at full speed.
He wanted to wipe us all out.
Seeing this, Madam got furious.
She pulled the whip with force and shouted at the blood sect elder nearby. Shut your mouth and can't die already.
Then, with a sudden burst of power, she actually swung and sent the elder's head flying.
The poor elder died without understanding what poison he was afflicted with.
With a loud clang, the head landed right in front of the vice captain,
which made him ecstatic. Looks like we won. The young lady had successfully taken down the blood sect elder's cell phone.
Everyone from the Tang sect was excited now, but only the young lady stood stunned as if she hadn't realized she had won.
So she turned to me and asked what was going on. Why did the blood sect elder suddenly get poisoned? However, I didn't answer her question. Instead, I called her Sister Huan, which made her blush.
Why are you suddenly calling me sister? But when she saw my face, she turned pale in shock.
I told her to save me quickly. I had been bitten by the tiger-striped serpent.
My head was spinning terribly. I couldn't even hear what they were saying anymore.
The scene shifted.
When I woke up again, I was already back at the Tang sect.
Grandfather looked at me with concern and told me not to move because he was still treating me.
I opened my eyes wide.
What's going on? When did we come back? Then grandfather said something that shocked me.
2.5 seconds? No. He said I was unconscious for 10 days before waking.
It turned out that 10 days ago, after defeating the blood sect elder, they immediately brought me back.
During that time, they used all their methods to cleanse the poison.
It only took 2 hours to make the trip back. Everything that happened now reminded me of a scene from my past life.
In my previous life, I died from a black mamba bite. I broke out in a cold sweat from fear.
I almost died from a snake bite twice.
Could this be fate?
After half a moment, grandfather finally finished treating me.
Now that I had awakened, there shouldn't be any major issues. However, one thing puzzled grandfather greatly. Is the tiger-striped serpent venomous? But what concerned him more was how the blood sect elder had been defeated.
As he spoke, he shook me by the shoulders.
Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, so I told him the truth.
First of all, the tiger-striped serpent is indeed venomous.
And it has 2 types of venom. One is in its mouth. The other is secreted from glands in its neck. They are very timid. They run at the sight of humans, and their fangs are very small, so it's hard to notice.
Grandfather exclaimed in awe. My grandson-in-law is truly knowledgeable. I didn't expect you to know such obscure facts.
The reason I was able to defeat the elder was by using the serpent's venom. Its venom's main component is hemotoxin,
a type of toxin that causes bleeding. It destroys red blood cells and the walls of blood vessels, along with internal tissue cells. It breaks down all internal bodily structures. If someone like a vampire who feeds on blood absorbs this toxin through blood plasma, what would happen?
Even I was curious at the time.
So I risked poisoning myself and used reverse psychology to make him absorb the venom from my body.
Still, killing the elder involved some luck.
Maybe the hemotoxin had a powerful effect on their blood-based martial arts. That's why it worked.
As for the tiger-striped serpent's venom, it just hadn't been discovered before.
Its toxicity is actually 5 times stronger than the viper's. After hearing my explanation, Grandfather felt his brain couldn't keep up.
Even though they only understood half of what I said, it didn't stop me from becoming a Tang sect hero. At that moment, Grandfather coughed as if he remembered something. He said he had heard it from his granddaughter earlier. Then he
gave a mocking smirk. Did you claim to the elder that you were his nemesis? In this world, there's no such thing as Tunibius, only arrogance. I was so embarrassed. I covered my face with the blanket.
How could such
bold words come out of my mouth? But Grandfather still sincerely thanked me for protecting the family.
Then he got angry again. How dare they hurt my family while I was gone?
We must root them out completely this time.
I was furious too.
They nearly killed my madam.
They must be punished accordingly. Now that we've discovered their weakness, all we need is to collect a lot of tiger-striped serpent venom.
These people are too wicked. They kill and burn without remorse. Most terrifying of all, they drink human blood. And worst of all, they dare to hurt members of the Tang sect.
I must make them taste the agony of living hell.
Since the appearance of the blood sect scum, the Tang family has been on emergency alert. Several warriors of the Tang family were injured, some even critically, and didn't survive.
So other orthodox martial sects are also rushing to help the Tang family. Grandfather sent flying letters and summoned allies.
Even though the enemy is full of top-tier experts, the
sacrifice has already been minimal. But thinking about how the blood sect will once again bring chaos to the martial world, he became deeply worried.
Those damn bastards were abducting people en masse. Training them of blood wasn't enough. They even massacred many villages and cities 30 years ago. They became public enemies of the martial world
and were branded as a false religion.
This matter is extremely serious. At this point, Grandfather patted me on the shoulder. He said proudly, "We're not afraid anymore because the Tang sect has produced a chosen one, their natural enemy." These words made me want to crawl into a hole in shame. This old man must have said that on purpose.
Then he grinned slyly, showing off 8 sparkling teeth.
So bad.
He said he was only joking just now.
However,
he now had something to ask of me. I told him to go ahead or do my best if I can.
According to his guess, the Martial Alliance should arrive soon,
and their military experts would also be present. He wanted them to see the venom I discovered.
Grandfather had a hard time uncovering the blood sect's weakness, so he wanted to share it with everyone.
I respectfully cupped my fists.
For the greater good, I really should do this. Even if the old master hadn't said it, I would have brought it up. At the very end, the old master had one more piece of good news to share with me: the renovation of the 10,000 poisons shop is complete. From now on, the shop will be officially managed by me. This made me incredibly excited. That means I can finally play with all kinds of poisons comfortably. This has been my lifelong dream, and the old master even followed my suggestion and prepared a well-lit room. If you want to raise striped venomous snakes, you need a good foundation. I have to say, the old master really knows how to get things done. From this moment on, I already considered myself a martial arts scholar, no longer the kid who only played with poison. The next day, when I arrived at the 10,000 poisons shop, I was completely shocked. It was so impressive. Not far in front of me, a beautiful loft had been built, and the lighting absolutely perfect.
It was way better than my old broken tank. Above the door, it said Poison Garden. I came up with that name myself, similar to a zoo from my past life.
My lady
looked confused, so I explained it to her.
It means bringing together all the poisons from the Central Plains. She glanced sideways and said, "So that's what it is. You want to collect all the poisons." I gave a slight smile. "One day, I'll collect all 10 of the Central Plains' most venomous creatures. After all, we already made that promise."
Upon hearing this, my lady blushed and turned her head away shyly. Didn't this mean that by then, we'd have to make our relationship official?
She then ran away bashfully. Her running was hilariously cute. But just ahead, a figure blocked her path. It was Captain Chu, who now had a new title: Captain of the Poison Squad. This left me confused.
What's this Poison Squad all about? The old master never mentioned it to me.
Turns out, it was a squad formed by the family head just for me, a newly established Tang sect unit.
These people were to be my right-hand men, responsible for seeking and raising poisons.
After hearing the captain's explanation, I drooled with desire. This level of support was insane. If I compared this to my previous life, it would be like someone opening a pet shop just for me and assigning me the shop staff.
That's not just support, it's pampering.
At that moment, I clearly felt that my dream was one step closer. Gulp, gulp, gulp. A pigeon sent out by the old master arrived before a woman. She had a celestial aura and an extraordinary appearance. She removed the message from the pigeon and read it. She didn't expect this to happen again. Looks like the martial world will be thrown into chaos again. She whispered Amitabha. Turns out, she's a Buddhist.
She sighed deeply. The martial world's peace will soon be shattered again.
I fear countless people will die in this storm. Meanwhile, the people of the Martial Alliance were rushing frantically, headed toward the Tang sect. This time, the Alliance leader didn't come personally, but sent Zhu Hao and other martial experts. The leader originally wanted to come himself, but Zhu Hao strongly dissuaded him. So now, he hopes the Tang sect can provide some good news to report back.
Even a tiny clue about the blood cult would satisfy him.
Time passed quickly. They arrived at the Tang sect. The guards at the entrance recognized their identity at once. They must be the Martial Alliance members the old master mentioned. Zhu Hao stepped forward. Greetings. I am Zhu Hao, strategist of the Martial Alliance. I'd like to request an audience with the old master. Seeing their status, the guards responded with respect.
They respectfully clasped their fists in return. We'll go report your arrival now. Then one of them hesitated. The Tang sect is no longer what it used to be. After entering, you must follow many new rules. Zhu Xing was startled. Has the Tang sect established a purification?
Poor?
Only purified people can enter?
The man didn't know how to respond.
It might sound unbelievable, but please let me explain.
In the Tang sect, no matter how small the creature, you are absolutely forbidden from killing it. Zhu Hao thought they had converted to Buddhism.
The guard shouted. You'll understand once you're inside.
Just remember this rule well. Zhu laughed. The Tang sect is acting so mysterious, it's making me curious. Soon I arrived at the entrance, ready to welcome Zhu Hao of the Martial Alliance.
Zhu Hao exchanged some pleasantries. It's been exactly a year since I last saw Miss Huan. Where is the Lord of 10,000 Poisons now? Miss Huan clasped her fists. My grandfather is away searching for the blood cult's trail. Please forgive his absence. Zhu Hao finally noticed me. He asked, Who is this young man beside you? Why is his face unfamiliar? I calmly and respectfully clasped my fists. My name is Wei Xiaolao, the Tang family's future son-in-law, beside me. Huan blushed deeply. Please don't laugh, Master Zhu. He's my lover. The two men were utterly shocked.
This was huge news.
Miss Huan actually has a lover? The people behind them couldn't accept it. How could life be so unfair?
Where did this brat even come from?
Zhu Hao sensed danger.
He quickly asked my lady to let them inside. If we stay out here any longer, they might all challenge him to a duel. After entering the Tang sect, they heard a buzzing sound. Buzz, buzz, buzz. It stunned them for a moment.
The two martial artists behind were shocked.
Strategist, look.
There's something extraordinary up there.
A swarm of bees hovered overhead, but these weren't ordinary bees.
They were golden-head wasp kings.
Why would the Tang sect have such dangerous creatures? After a brief shock, they reacted. They drew their weapons and surrounded us. This startled both me and my lady. The guards behind us looked awkward. It seemed like things were about to get messy.
I tried to stop them, but one of them brushed my hand aside. You don't understand, young man.
These golden-head wasp kings are extremely dangerous.
Ordinary people can be killed instantly. They pushed and shoved, nearly giving me a heart attack. Their actions infuriated me. You fools back off.
These golden-head wasps are my pets.
Everyone stay calm. Do not hurt a single poisonous creature in the Tang sect.
Just as I said that, one golden-head wasp landed right on my face. This made the Martial Alliance folks behind me freak out. More and more golden-head wasps crawled onto me. I told
them, don't be scared.
These are my children.
But they only recognize Tang sect members.
If you hurt one, you might get mobbed by the entire swarm.
At this moment, the people from Wulin's sect were so shocked they couldn't speak. They thought, how powerful must he be to tame even the golden-haired queen bee?
Who exactly is this person? After 2.5 minutes, the crowd finally settled down.
I continued leading them on a tour of Tang sect. During the visit, The descendant of Zhu opened his folding fan. To his surprise, the mysterious young hero from Hainan Island turned out to be the lover of Diyu Yuji.
Even if he is an outsider, he is now the Tang family's live-in son-in-law.
At that moment, Zhu Hao's attention was drawn again, this time by the obedient behavior nearby. He was now completely confused what exactly was going on with these people. Beside them, a group of people were tending to poisonous creatures.
Each one was handling venomous creatures that would terrify most. Zhu Hao patted my shoulder.
Young hero Xiaolong, why are these warriors caring for poisonous creatures?
Actually, I explained, they are being punished in the form of pet duty. Zhu Qing was puzzled. It was his first time hearing of such punishment.
Did they do something wrong?
He asked.
After a moment's thought, I replied. They did indeed make a mistake. It happened just a few days ago.
That day, I was training in martial arts with Miss Huan.
Suddenly, some voices called out to me.
I turned and saw it was Captain Shu and the others. Their faces looked unusually serious. They told me that more than half of the mice meant for
feeding the tiger-striped snake had died.
This made me feel quite sad.
But it couldn't be helped. Mice are naturally sensitive.
If there's too much noise, the mother mice might even kill their own young. But what they said next left me utterly dumbfounded. I even rubbed my ears in disbelief.
They said the warrior guards had eaten the mice like they were chives. After confirming I hadn't misheard, I immediately asked, why did you eat the baby mice as if they were chives?
And what use is eating those? Why not eat something else?
At this point, my wife stepped in to clarify. They were probably eating a dish called 3 squeak mice, which means dipping live baby mice in sauce and eating them raw. She turned her head and scolded them, but I was already completely dazed.
The mice were meant for feeding the tiger-striped snake, yet these people had eaten them.
That simply wouldn't do.
The mice were meant to raise valuable pets. So, I issued a punishment. Each warrior had to care for one poisonous creature. After hearing this, Zhu Hao glanced at me.
He felt this young man was not ordinary. If there was a chance in the future, he definitely wanted to converse with me more. He felt that ever since I came to Tang sect, the whole atmosphere had changed. 2.5 hours later, I brought Zhu Hao to meet my grandfather.
Zhu Hao
let out a hearty laugh. It echoed throughout the room.
Just as I expected.
The mysterious hero that the Tang family leader met on Hainan Island turned out to be me Wei, the young hero. Hearing them praise me, I couldn't help but feel a bit shy, so I just stood silently off to the side.
However, there was still one thing troubling him. He had found no clues about the Shui cult. Seeing the cult's growing power, he couldn't just sit idly by. So this time he came to Tang sect to discuss
the matter.
Just then, my grandfather proudly said, Xiaolong, go bring that thing over here. With equal pride, I responded, yes, grandfather, I'll go get it now. Zhu Hao was stunned.
Could it be they had some secret treasure that could
help locate the cult?
Grandfather slowly raised one finger.
Suddenly, a green barrier spread from him outward, enveloping the room. This circular shield could block all outside sound.
It was a precaution. He worried that news might leak out and be intercepted by the cult.
Then, I placed a bottle on the table. What I wanted to show Zhu Hao was inside it.
Zhu Hao froze. He reached for the bottle, gave it a shake, but didn't notice anything strange.
Puzzled, he asked, what is this? Why must it be vacuum sealed to extract its contents? My grandfather and I exchanged glances, then nodded in unison.
When Zhu Hao learned of its purpose, he was shocked.
This is scatter poison, but unlike normal scatter poison, Tang sect's version only affects members of the Shui cult. Zhu Hao slammed the table in excitement.
He could hardly believe what he heard.
If what we said was true, it would be a groundbreaking discovery. 30 years ago, the Wulin Alliance suffered terribly during the cult's uprising because the cult used this kind of scatter poison. When Zhu Hao mentioned this, grandfather's expression turned sorrowful. Once infected with this poison, Wulin fighters would lose their internal strength, yet the cult members were unaffected. Zhu Hao asked, how potent is this version? Grandfather replied, according to HUAN, it reduces the victim's body function to that of an average person.
The previous cult elder who was poisoned was defeated by HUAN in a single strike.
Zhu Hao was overjoyed. This was truly the same effect as the enemy's version. At this point, Zhu Hao respectfully cupped his fists and said, thank you, Lord of 10,000 Poisons.
With this gift, even the Alliance leader could breathe a sigh of relief. But then, grandfather shifted the credit to me.
Don't thank me, thank this child. He was the one who discovered it. He even poisoned himself first, then lured the
cult elder to drink his blood, which led to the elder's downfall. Zhu Hao pressed his hand on my shoulder. I was overwhelmed.
This man was a renowned figure in the martial world.
Zhu Hao opened his fan.
Hero Shaola, if you have any request, just tell me. If I can do it, I'll pass it on to the alliance leader. I was speechless. What a rare opportunity. I smiled shyly and said, actually, I do have a request.
Can I obtain information about poisonous creatures?
Zhu Hao was stunned.
You don't want rare pills or gold and silver treasures, you want intel on poisons.
Grandfather nodded. So Zhu Hao agreed to my request. With a chuckle, he said, you really are something else. In all the long years of Wulin, there's probably never been someone quite like you, and so he honored my request. Though it wasn't exactly the poison I wanted, it was still very rare.
The poison he referred to was an extremely rare and
mysterious substance in the martial world.
Though not one of the top 10 poisons, it could rival them in potency.